3 is the future.
Welcome, crew, to What Are Your Three, a Channel 3 podcast where we take a member of the Channel 3 community, discuss 3 games of their choosing, go through some honorable mentions and some other odds and ends for a nice little video game discussion. I'm Dan. With me, as always, Ray.
What's going on, everybody? Tonight's guest is part of the Ticket Redemption crew, fellow Canadian Callie. Make sure that we get this person. We need more Canada on the show. This is what we were told. So we have the one and only Sprondeau tonight. Sprondeau, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well, thanks. How are you guys?
We're good. We're happy to have you here. We're glad to talk. I'm very excited about this list of games. I saw the list and I said, yes, I want to talk about these games. This is great. Let's jump right into it. Game number 1, Bioshock.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All the hype. It took me like 2 months before getting it when it came out originally. And then I was floored. Couldn't put it down.
So you're playing it on Xbox 360?
Yeah, 360, first time through. I had like this old 80s surround sound system set up in my rec room. My nephew was like, hey, I want to come check this game out. First scene, the splicer falls down and it's like screaming, and it jumps away. I've never seen him so scared. He jumped up off the couch and he ran out the room. Couldn't believe it. We still talk about it.
So what's your first impression of this game? You put it on and hey, you're in water and now you're gonna go underwater and there's this whole like city down there and that's the game started.
I couldn't believe how cool it was. The graphics, the water effects on the screen when you dip your head in the water, walking through all the leaks and all that stuff. All these little details, things I had never really seen before.
So was this the first game kind of like of this style that you were playing? It's kind of like, it's almost like slow first person. It's not really horror, but it's got that M rating because it gets pretty gory throughout the game.
Yeah. Well, there was that, it was a long time since I really played a single player game because I was heavy into Halo 3, Call of Duty 4. Man, though my evenings were just that. And then this game came out and I was like, all right, this looks really good. It's getting some really crazy reviews. Let's check it out. And the rest is history.
So you start playing and, you start seeing these giant, they look like robots. They're supposed to have people in them, but they're giant robots just running around, definitely stronger than you are.
Yeah.
And then there's, these little girls show up and you learn about the little sisters. And so we have to ask, were you saving them or were you harvesting them?
The first playthrough I was saving every time. And then second playthrough, I was like, let's see how strong I can get.
So this is one you played multiple times? Like you went through the story multiple times?
Yeah, I played through it with a good playthrough and then I went through with an evil playthrough.
Did you change difficulty levels either time?
Yeah, I went to hard. I went to hard when I played in my evil.
Yeah, once he was able to suck up all the power of the little sisters, no problem. Sure, give me the hard mode.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you end up leaning on one weapon over the other as you went through the game? Was there one you liked, the shotgun, compared to like the drum gun, stuff like that?
The shotgun was really strong, but I used the pistol.
Really?
I love the pistol. Yep. That was probably my most used weapon. I'd just shock everybody and just pistol them down.
Did you try using different magic, or was it like this electricity does a lot, let's just use this most of the time?
I used electricity, the fire. The bees were handy once there was quite a few enemies around. Just throw that out and pick them off one by one.
So I know when I played the game, I hit a point where I'm like, my God, these big daddies, like it doesn't matter how good I get, they're so strong, and like I have to work so hard to beat them.
Yeah,
I know I hit a point where I was like, I think I have enough stuff to beat the game, and I started like sneaking around them. I was like, I can't deal with you guys anymore. Did you take the time? Were you just battling them all?
Well, I was trying to do all the photographs.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that you could take photographs of all the enemies. Yeah, I was trying to complete that. And then I had all the turrets done. I had all the splicers done and everything. It took so long. And it was just running back and forth, killing one, and then kind of going to the next area, then coming back, and it would reappear, take the 3 pictures again. Oh, it was just a real pain, but I enjoyed it. It was fun.
So, and the one thing I remember is like the movement. Like you're so much slower.
Yeah.
Than all your enemies. Did you ever did that bother you? Did you feel like it made sense that you were so much slower than everyone else?
Yeah, it made sense. Like you weren't like a junkie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like all these people, who knows what they're really on? They're just climbing walls and jumping off the ceiling and stuff. I can't do that. Just give me the powers and I'll go with that.
So you say, would you feel like you save the sisters and you end up in their little camp?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh, I guess this looks like this is kind of where the game ends. It's weird that we have it left, but good job.
Yeah.
And then that plot twist hits you. Were you ready for that?
Oh man.
For that switch up right there?
When it first hit, I had to put the controller down. I just sat there and everything was flashing up on the screen. Couldn't believe it. Everything came back because I was blowing through this game, I was 3 days in. Couldn't put it down, and then that all started, and then everything came back, and unbelievable.
Did it change your perspective? Thinking instead, it's like you weren't in control, almost like you were playing the game, and you think back, and it's like, oh, I was doing what everything he told me to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It's like the game played itself, and then you were just kind of there, almost watching it. Because it was exactly what was being said. And I've noticed that since that game, I pay so much more attention to dialogue and try to pick up on little things like that. Like, hey, if the subtitles are on, they spelled this name incorrectly this time, but then this time it was correct. So what's going on, I did that with God of War. There was a little thing with God of War Ragnarok that I noticed, and I don't know if I should spoil it or not.
Dan, you'd have to notice that one.
We did not cross Ragnarok spoiler territory yet. I've not gotten to it. I don't know. I don't think statute of limitations is up on Ragnarok.
It just dropped on PC. It's brand new. It's brand new to the PC community.
That's true.
God of War on sale. I think they got it down to $40 now. If you want the first one,
it was $49.76. I think that was the last I had seen the low price for it. Not Canadian. I don't know, maybe $1,000 Canadian. What's the exchange rate now? Garbage. I don't know.
It's probably $120 Canadian.
You know what's not on sale though? Any Nintendo game.
Right?
Never. No, it is for another 2 hours, Ray. Only for another 2 hours.
Sale. Mario Odyssey. It's only 50 instead of 60 or at least. Stop. These games are 7 years old.
Yeah.
Don't tell me this $10 off thing.
Hasn't received an update in 6 years.
I can't with this. So the plot twist happens, obviously, and you're like, wow, I've just been told what to do the whole time. Yeah. There's a lot of game after that point,
there's
right?
Right?
Because you
just try to unravel everything. Because you're like, hey, this guy has been telling me everything. I gotta kind of get some sort of freedom back, And then, there's so much more. That's maybe just over halfway through the game, I would say. Yeah.
So final boss, did you find it a challenging one? For me, it was tough. I was a rough one. Yeah. Every time I was like, man, he's launching from across the room. He can hit me, and I'm trying to sidestep, but I was walking through mud with this giant suit on. It was a hard one for me.
Yeah, it was tough, but it was a lot of fun. It took me a few tries. And then finally I was like, all right, I think I kind of got this down. Let's see if I can pull it off. And then I think I had a sliver of health left by the time I was finished.
Did you end up playing 2 or 3? What do you?
Yes.
I'm naming 3 right now.
Infinite.
There we go.
When 2 came out, I took the day off work. Okay. I was working at Best Buy. Totally didn't even think that I placed a pre-order for the collector's edition. And where did I have to pick it up? Was at my work. So they're like, "Hey, like, I thought you had something today." And here I want this big box. Like, yeah, I do. All right, well, have a good one. And then I just kind of ran out. Like those posters were up on my wall day one. You know, they came with these really cool little old style posters and all these little things. They came with a record, a vinyl. I still have it. I've never taken it out of that. It would be cool to check that out. 2 was really good. It wasn't as fun as the first one. Wasn't as mind blowing, I'd say. But looking back on it now, I think it aged the best of the 3, if I dare say that. And then Infinite was like next level. I love that one. My brother got into it. My brother that doesn't play video games got into Bioshock Infinite. And then we're at work. He's asking me all kinds of questions like, "Hey, how did you do this? How did you do that?" And then next day he's like, "Hey, I got through it," you know? And then he's freaking out. He had no idea what the story was.
Yeah, right at the end. I have to ask spoiler-wise for that one because you're talking about your mind blown by like the way Bioshock plays out. The ending of Infinite just makes my head hurt, and it explains the name of the game. But like, your brain's just you go full galaxy brain. Your brain's just trying to eat itself.
Yeah, I thought like the twist in the first one was something, and then it throws you back into Rapture, and then you're baptizing yourself, and it's just like, what is going on? And then I had to like watch YouTube videos to watch the ending again, and then try to analyze everything. Just unbelievable. That whole series is just so good. And of course I had to buy the remasters, like I think I've bought the Bioshock probably 4 times now. Got it on 360, PC, PlayStation. I probably own it on Switch. I don't know. I don't remember.
That's where I have it now. I had them. I had 1 and 2 on the 360, and then I got the bundle on the Switch. So I've been playing them there. All right, last thing. So you had 2 on the 360 back in the day. Mm-hmm. Did you play the multiplayer?
I did a little bit. I did a little bit, and then I think the community was like already dead. I remember reading like, "Oh, it's fun, but there's nobody playing it." And then I played a handful of rounds, and then I had maybe 2 or 3 other people there, and then never bothered after that.
Yeah, it was a bit. If I remember playing it, thinking, "Man, this is kind of all over the place." Mm-hmm. Like I get it, there's weapons and there's powers, and you should be able to kind of do this, but it did feel. It was like it's just like that wasn't the point of the game. It was like they just kind of threw it in extra words.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, every other game is having multiplayer right now.
Might as well, right?
With,
360 chats.
Yeah,
gotta have it.
Well, let's talk about your second game, Diablo. I assume we're talking about the OG. We're going back.
OG, man. Days? I was like 6 years old when I started playing this.
Oh my god!
Like,
all right,
my brother and his buddy are just like talking about this game. It's scary. And you're killing demons and all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, what are you guys talking about?
You don't want none of this, Dewey. You don't want none of this.
I kind of think I want it.
Wait, you kill demons? Yeah, it sounds great. No, I want it. I think I want it. Yeah.
You have a sword, like
you just keep playing it over and over and over again. I want it. I think I want it.
Like I was talking about it today, and looking back on it, it was so much harder compared to 2, 3, and 4. Like I love the whole series. All of them have their own thing that I love, especially 2. Like 2 was like, I got on another level with 2 when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah, there's a reason they went back and they upgraded 2 the way they did. It's not they didn't. Right. Yeah.
And 1, like the whole you die, you lose all your gear, and then you got to go back and get it. That was the craziest thing. I can't imagine doing that now. Could you imagine the uproar if that's what you had to do in Diablo 4?
No, you just have a Diablo 4, they just give you a $5 get your gear back DLC package right away. 4 is just built to keep you on the hook for throwing money at them. That's not. This is the purest version of it right here. This is uncut, undistilled.
And then the whole like gold taking up inventory space. So you had a cap of 500 gold per slot. And then if you had any, and of course, every item was like 4,000. So you had to just store all your gold on the ground and then hope you picked it up before you turned the game off.
So was this a first, like, your first run at this type of game then?
That was my first PC game.
I was going to say first, even just get the mouse on the screen, clicking, using the keyboard.
Yeah. So it was Diablo, and then I got into StarCraft, and then played a tiny bit of everything Blizzard. Yeah. Everything Blizzard was like what I grew up with.
So the first time, so again, don't ask me about anything when I was 6. I don't remember any of it anymore. But so the first time you turn on when you're 6, like, is he guiding you through it? Is it just like you snuck down there and turned the PC on and weren't telling anybody? What?
He talked to my parents. He talked to my parents, and then he was like, "Oh, I'll watch him. I'll make sure he's okay." And then I remember my dad was like doing house renos, like changing the ceiling drywall, And it was the first time I killed the butcher. And I come out of the room and my hands are just shaking. It's like, Eric, my brother, I was like, I just killed the butcher. And he's like, cool, you're like 2 hours in. I was like, oh my God, there's so much more to this. I had no idea.
I'm a man now. If I just go punch your dad, I'm a man now, Father. I'm in charge here. So what did you pick? What did you pick for like the first class? Like, did you have any idea? Did he guide you through like, here's what this means as far as like what you're selecting? It was
just like take whatever you want and go from there. I think it was a sorceress. My first, because he was like showing me Firewall and how broken it was and it was melting everything. It's like, hey, I want to do that too.
Yeah, it did not hurt for a 6-year-old to have the extra attack.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really, really fun. And then 2, I got on this, like, I carried the strategy guide with me everywhere I was. Like, I knew item descriptions for these stupid unique items that you got on like Nightmare, and I had never even played Nightmare, and I knew where all the items were.
Just be dog-eared pages everywhere, book torn to shreds in the backpack type of thing.
Basically, yeah. And then both of my brothers played it. And then one night where 3 of us were like trading, and then I was like, no, I don't want to trade with you. I want to trade with you. And then it was just like super weird. And then that's when my brothers were like, all right, we got to kind of put a pause on you for this game. I talked to my parents, and then they're like, nope, you're done.
Had to cut you off, had to go cold turkey?
Yeah.
Wait. I need to understand what prompted the trade route cut off here. Were there bad deals? You always felt like you were on the end of bad deals? Is that what this was?
Not even. I was just like, I want the best thing possible, even if it didn't matter what class I was.
So you were like the Gordon Gecko of Diablo. You were just in there in like your little business suit at 8 years old or whatever, and it's just
I was just sitting there like that, like give you whatever you got. And then my brother was running a barbarian. My other brother was on an Amazon. I was playing a Necro, I think, and then they were just trying to throw paladin gear at me. I was just like, just give me everything you have, even if I had no use for it. And then after seeing me carry that book around, like to school, to suppers, birthday parties, my parents are just like, all right, that's a bit much. We gotta put a stop to this. And then it was probably 3 years before I was like, hey, is it okay if I start playing again? I promise not to get weird this time.
I promise not to try to revive any dead in real life. I will not try any actual necromancy. I'm sorry. Video games don't cause violence. They cause amateur necromancy in the back of the Canadian woods. Oh my God.
And then, so then I got the okay every day from school. I'd get home, put my bag down, get on the computer and play Diablo 2. Trying to complete sets, trying to farm gold, trying to get whatever I could.
So was it? I was going to ask, is there anything that stuck out? Was there an item that you coveted? You had the guide. You knew what you wanted. You could go after whatever you wanted. Short of again nightmare, short of nightmare mode probably, and getting that. Was there's an item in particular that stuck out? There like this is the one, or was it just a perpetual attempt to gather as much as humanly possible?
I just tried to hoard everything. I'd have gold for days, and then I would gamble it with greed as much as I could. And then I would go down to nothing, and then I'd just farm Diablo and Duriel, and I would just farm all the end bosses.
Oh my god, there were a lot of life lessons happening very early for you because of this.
Right?
Well, you answered my question. So was there an item that you found though helpful at least, or something you stuck out, or just didn't matter? You just whatever. I'm just going to tear through it every year.
Just give me whatever you can. Did
your brothers end up picking the game back up with you, or were they just terrified and done by that point?
They were done. They had played their fix, and then that was it. And then I started playing, and I talk about it here and there with them. They say, "Okay, cool. Maybe we'll install it again," and then they just never did.
So I apologize for leading the witness around Diablo 4 and Infinite in particular, but have you cracked, or is it more of like you're afraid of unleashing some darkness in yourself? Have you cracked any of the new ones?
I put thousands of hours into 3. I played like the first 10 seasons.
3 is the before times though. I like 3 still there's still like there's Diablo 3 is the end of it, I think. And then
4,
Infinite
the launch of 4 is really rough.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I said Infinite. I've got Bioshock on the brain. Immortal happens. And I feel like it's done at that point. Like I.
Don't you all have phones?
Don't you all have phones and infinite income? That's the other reason I keep getting Infinite stuck in my head with that instead of Immortal, is they just assume you've got infinite income for. You can't get anything useful unless you're going to pay significant sums of actual money. Forget the gold stock storage. You need actual money for everything.
I played maybe 10 minutes of Immortal. Got rid of it. I was like, no. I know I'm going to be tempted to spend money. I'm just going to cut this off right now. Uninstalled. Couldn't do it.
How about 4? I get this. I can't figure out like what the community's doing in 4. Like, does it exist? Does it just like, does it resent that it exists? Is there enough of a population there? It's like, all right, we'll come in for the new season and duck back in and duck back out. Like, it doesn't feel like 2 and 3 had an ongoing fervor. That I don't know if I don't feel like 4 has. I don't know if there's just too much now, or if just like post Immortal, the Diablo Blizzard model broke. Like there's probably similar conversations about Overwatch 2 and all of this also, I guess. But that's like Blizzard's got a slightly different model than they did before. I don't know.
That's right. Like when 4 came out, I was at DreamHack in Dallas, hanging out with the DadBods guys, and like a handful of us bought the deluxe edition so that we'd be able to play a week early, so that we'd be able to all play while we were at DreamHack. And 2 of these guys downloaded it and played and got to like level 55 by the weekend was over, Meanwhile, me and my other buddies are at like 15, 20 maybe. And these guys are playing till 4 or 5 in the morning. They go to bed. They wake up at 9. They're back in the LAN playing again, just grinding as much as they could. And it seemed really slow. The loot was just so convoluted with all these different affixes you had to look for. It was just gross, And then season 1 was like, all right, they might have fixed it. And then it just got worse. It was just boring. I put the game down, and then I see all the hype for season 4 that's happening right now. It's so much better.
Is it actually? I was kind of curious, but I keep seeing like the news stories popping up, and I'm like, is this just obligatory? Like, we want 1997 Diablo back, or is this actually people wanting to believe in it again?
I'm actually really, really enjoying it. In one night of playing for like 2.5 hours, I went from a level 1 to like a 34. Like, they squished all the XP needed for leveling, and loot is easier to find. Loot is It's just better. Everything, it's what it should have been a year ago when the game came out. And now I'm like looking at different builds so that if I have a screen full of enemies, I press 2 buttons and they're all dead. You know, like I was telling my girlfriend about it today. Like that's my goal. I don't want a specific piece of gear. I just want to be able to melt my screen if I ever need to.
All right, so we move on. Game number 3 now. It is Hades, which I love. Yeah, listen, this game, it's so good. First ever video game to win the Hugo Award for its literary writing and all that stuff. Words are escaping me right now, but Hades, the best. Love
Hades
it.
talk
Unbelievable.
good.
Hades. Why use more when few do trick? Tell us about Hades.
I never would have thought I would enjoy this game as much as I have been. It came out, I played it for 5-6 hours, and I was like, it's not my thing. I tried it, not going to do it. I can't. And then randomly, a couple years ago, I was like, you know what? I keep seeing this game is everywhere. Everybody is talking about this. I was like, I got to try it again. And then I got my first Hades kill. I got to Hades the first time, and I was like, oh my God, we have to fight him now. What happens? Like, does the game end? I don't know. And then he just wiped the floor with me, I was like, okay, I gotta get better, get good at this, And man, I've killed him probably 5 times, and I know I have probably 15 other kills to get before I complete the story. The first time I killed him, I was like, all right, that's the game, But why is there so much more to unlock? And then I was like, no, this is not the end of the game. Then there's heat runs, and okay, you got to unlock the different aspects of each weapon and level them up. I was like, okay, there's quite a bit to do left,
So you've had 5 wins against him.
I think I've killed him 5 or 6 times.
Okay,
I'm still fairly early in.
You're only 30 runs away from rolling credits, man. You're getting there.
No.
I know.
Much closer. You're very close. Hades I would say Hades has 3 endings.
Okay.
And you're closer to the first one is just beating him. Like that first win is something. I remember when I got to him, took that first bar of health down, and I was like, oh my God. And then the second bar of health came, and I think he next shot killed me. And it was like one of the most demoralizing things I've ever felt before when that happened.
Trying to use the lucky tooth keepsake and trying to keep it as long as I can so I can get that extra life. And man, and now I'm running around without it. Like, all right, let's see how far I can go now, And then out of nowhere, Hades 2 is just like, boom, early access. All right, here we go, So,
did you play Hades 2?
I love Hades 2. I have let me check right now. I have too many hours in this game, Birdie.
I was gonna say I could check. Let me check right now too. How many I have?
I feel like I've played a lot, and I'm at 50 hours.
You're at 50.
Yeah.
I'm at 118.
I have.
It's so good.
I have 2 clears. So far, and 95% of my playtime is on my Steam Deck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got one at Christmas, and I was like, hey, if I buy one, when you go to bed at night, I'll bring it up with me, and I'll chill in bed while you fall asleep. I've probably done that 10 times since Christmas.
It's so good. I put like special, like the 2 special and heavy hits. I have them on the paddles.
Yeah.
On the back. So that I can make sure I can dash and attack. Oh no, this game, it's so good on the Steam Deck. And I think Hades 2 is when I listen, I have so much. I've completed like almost everything you can complete.
Oh, nice.
And
I feel like I've done quite a bit, but I know there's still a lot of stuff to do.
It's just a great sequel. They've really made everything better.
I'm so excited to see where it's gonna be. Like even just the latest update with all the keepsake art.
I have to I gotta do all that.
Blown away by all that. and it's just like little art pieces that were rings. You know?
Yeah. All right, we've gone completely off the rails here. Back to the first Hades. What weapon did you win with the first time?
My first kill was the rail.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah. Just lobbing bombs, running away. Actually, my first kill in Hades 2 was with the fire as well.
What, the umbral flames?
Yeah.
That was that's the last one I got to win with.
They're good. I like them a lot. That's all I've used lately.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think they're my least favorite weapon. I think they upgraded them. I haven't played the newest upgrade patch, and they definitely made them better.
I think that's why.
I haven't played it yet.
I tried them before when I first got them, and I was like, all right, well,
slow.
Yeah, but now they're pretty good, especially when you can get a couple boons that really upgrade your magic and all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes it a lot better.
Did you face Charon at all?
Yes.
Were you able to beat him?
My ass.
Oh, me too. He's tough.
He's so strong. And I think it took me 3 or 4 tries before I was like, all right, I think I got him. And then I managed to kill him or defeat him anyway.
Yeah. But he's tough because you end up majority of the time playing him pretty early.
Yeah.
So you're just not upgraded when you have to fight him, and you're kind of forced to go to him, and hopefully you found enough gold to buy stuff and not waste your time when you see him.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just.
Then there's hard. That pile of gold, and you're like, I can really use that health.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, you want to fight now?
So oh gosh, what was I going to say? Hades. So you defeated Hades a whole bunch of times. Have you defeated Hades with one of the heats? One of the heats make the bosses stronger, and I'm forgetting the name. Okay.
No, I'm avoiding that one.
Yeah, that's a different. It's amazing. There's no achievement for doing it, which I think is insane, because it's so hard to do, and it is fun. Like doing it, eventually getting it. I couldn't believe there's no achievement for it. It's just like,
Did you watch the video of the guy completing the game on like heat 48?
It doesn't even make sense.
It's incredible.
He said there's some luck involved to getting the right setup for it.
Yeah.
But even still, like
it's like a 0.4% chance that he can clear it, and he somehow got it.
Yeah, they tried to make it so essentially it's impossible for you to do the whole thing. Yeah. I saw it, I was like, I don't understand it.
That might be the craziest thing I've seen done in a game in a long time.
After beating it, when I replayed it to see how fast I can beat it, I was like, I beat it in run 6 when I did it, because I got the shield and you could just block everything.
Yeah.
But some people are like, yeah, we can beat it with the sword. I was like, I don't even know how you can beat it with the sword early on. It's terrible.
The sword is the worst weapon.
Who's the toughest?
It's the worst one.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's even the best aspect of it is like, it's okay, but it's pick something else. What weapon have you enjoyed the most? I would say once I beat it with a railgun, all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I never want to use this thing. I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't move when you're hitting it, and everything else kind of moves.
And you just do the exact same build every single time. It's just the same run over and over. I really enjoy the spear.
Okay.
I love the spear. And then you can get the tri-hit, I love that.
Do you have a certain aspect of it, if you can remember?
No, I don't remember.
I wouldn't. The spear, I think, is the only one where I don't love the future aspect. Guan Yu, because you end up losing health.
Okay.
I think
that's why I never upgraded it.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to upgrade the sword to see if it would make it any better, and it was just a waste.
Yeah, for me, it's the fist, future fists. That's my go-to if I'm trying to do it fast.
Nice. I've tried the fists a handful of times. I would like to try them again and see if I can get those upgraded.
Who's the toughest boss? Is it Hades for you?
It's Hades. Hydra is probably the easiest.
Yes.
The sisters, they're fairly easy once you kind of know their moveset.
Yeah.
But the Elysium bosses was the Minotaur.
Yep. and the guy who's there with the Minotaur, whose name is leaving me right now.
Theseus? Is it
there
Theseus?
We go. Yeah. I think it's Theseus. It's like my son's favorite story too, and I'm forgetting it. But yes.
Yeah, they throw me off every time because I try to focus on the Minotaur and then go from there. And by the time I realize what's going on, I have 10% health.
Right. Do you ever fight the Minotaur before you get to the duo?
Yeah, I've had that pop up a few times. That's fun. And then he's like, all right, the boxing bell goes off. Yeah. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. Good job. And then that's it, you know?
Yeah, you get that little bit of health. So it makes the fight a little bit easier.
Yeah.
As you kill him there. Yeah, listen, you're only like 4 runs away from the like the main story finishing. And then there's one more story. That one takes longer to do because I think there's stuff you have to hit certain requirements. I just hit it. I hit it by default because I ended up playing it so much.
Right.
So I think just by playing enough, if you search to try to do different versions, you'll by default you'll kind of hit it and you'll hit a story point. You'll be like, oh, hold on a second, like they tell you kind of what you need to do, and you're like, all right, I guess now I got to try this.
I've just been throwing nectar at everybody, trying to raise all my. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on.
Of course, Meg is the one that you gotta hit all the hearts first with, right?
Oh, we're building relationships, right? we're building relationships.
That's right. Bringing people together.
That's right. As many people together as we can.
Yeah.
All right, so we finished up at 3. We're gonna move on to the honorable mentions. Top of the list, honorable mentions, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It has to get in here, right? We have to talk about it.
Of course.
Let's go. This is the first question I ask everyone that brings up Kart. What's your personal history of Mario Kart?
Well, I got it when I got my Switch. Played it here and there, with friends and all this stuff. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to 3-star everything. So I didn't know that if you do it on 150, it does it on 150.
Oh, did you start on 50?
I started on 50. I went through the 100. I went through 150. And then I cleared the mirror. And then I finally beat all the 200. And then I was just like, that's too much. Like, I gotta stop, I'm done. I thought that was it. And then I started reading up, like, hey, if you get a certain amount of coins, you start getting all these gold pieces. And then if you beat all the Nintendo time trial times, you get, I forget what it was, the wheels, I think, the gold wheels. So I was like, all right, that's my next goal, So I got gold Mario, gold kart, gold glider, wheels. I'm like, this is going to be such a flex. This is all I'm going to use.
It's going to be the best, right? Yeah. It has to be. It's all gold. It has to be the best.
All I used for like 3 years playing on and off, And then I kind of stopped. And then last year at DreamHack, actually, I think it's still my profile picture on Channel 3, there was a King of the Hill Mario Kart tournament. And I was the King of the Hill for over an hour. It was like a 2-hour event. I think I was up there for an hour and a half. And then I finished second, and then they're like, you're done. It was a good run. And then I got back in line. I got back to the top. I think I played 2 more races, and then it was like, okay, the time is up. This last race is it. And then I lost. I think it was $2,500 was the prize. Like US, like that would have paid for so much of my trip. And then I lost to some guy that was like Nintendo sponsored Twitch streamer. So he was like, all right, I'm pretty good. I play this fairly often. I was like, okay, And then I remember I had joined the TDG Kart group and was just so intimidated by kart gangs, time trials, Wolves Den, and all this stuff. It was just too much, so I just never bothered joining. And then after that King of the Hill tournament, I was like, all right, I think I should try to put some more time into this, And then I reached out. I forgot who it was. It may have been Mick or Mac. I think it was Mac. And they're like, hey, there's an event tomorrow. If you want to play, let's go, you know? And I think I made it to the finals. And some of the guys were like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? You know?
I think I remember those conversations. I think I remember people asking, like, what the hell is this guy from? I was like, I don't know. You guys know more than me.
And then I signed up for gangs, and then I played like a late night racing with like JPEG and Frizz and Ganon Slayer, you know? And I'm just talking so much crap to Greg. Because from like, I never played with him when he was like kicking everybody's. So I knocked him out of that tournament I played in. My points were like above his, and then he just didn't qualify. So he was like, who is this guy? You know? And then I'm just like rubbing it in his face, playing at like midnight one night. And we're just chirping each other, targeting each other like crazy. We're swearing. It's so much fun. And then like 2 days later, we're on the same gangs team. So then he's like, all right, man, we got to settle this down and like see what we can do here. And it's been such a blast. I think when I started a year ago, my online rating, which I thought was like a decent way to measure somebody's skill, because I remember when I joined, Max says, what do you think your skill is like? So I was like, well, my online rating is like 3,500. And he's like, oh, okay, you know, all right, sure. And then now I'm at like 16,500 or something, you know? And it's just from playing with these guys. And I feel like I'm 10 times better than I was a year ago. And it's so much fun. There's nights, of course, that I want to throw my controller out the window because you're in first and then you get hit by everything possible. And then you're 10th. But it's such a rush. And every time you play it, it's different. You could do the same course 15 times and it'll be different results every time. And I think that's what I enjoy the most about that. Plus, it's so much fun to yell at everybody. Just talk all the crap we can. And, it's just great. I love it.
So let's get some technical stuff out of the way here.
Yeah.
I should ask this more often. I don't know why I haven't. What controller are you playing on?
I'm on a Pro controller.
You're on a Pro controller?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to real technical.
You're a monster. I saw this in the notes and I've been waiting for that because you're a monster.
Is it wireless or wired? It's like the Nintendo Pro, or is it a separate Pro?
Nintendo Pro. It's the OG. I'm playing with the OG Pro controller from when I first got my Switch.
Still works?
Still works. I ended up having to get a new one because the shoulder buttons like only work about 80% of the time. And it was just, nope, I got to buy a new one.
How do you accelerate?
I press A. My brake would B.
No, that's the safe answer, right? The majority is A.
You mean the correct answer? Yes. Okay.
Are you someone that uses presses the brakes?
Yes.
Even
200, yes. Yeah.
You ever pressed it in 150?
No.
Never. There's no need for it.
No. Unless I'm drifting off my line, I don't press the brakes.
Do you use?
I do use the brakes if a blue's coming and there's somebody behind me.
Okay. Do you?
I'll try to get them with it.
Do you use the rear view camera at all?
Yes. I use it to line up shots.
What is your
wait, no, hang on. You gotta you can't let that response go, Ray. There's a Spidum question. There's now a Spidum follow-up question here that has to happen. That was a demonic. That wasn't just like, oh yeah, I look back. No, he specifically said, oh no, I did look back and fire a shot.
No, hold on. My next question. My next question, if you could put a number on it,
yeah.
What's the percentage split between items thrown forward and items thrown backwards?
I'd say it's 40-60. 60% backwards. Yeah. No joke.
You're throwing items backwards more often than you throw forward.
Yeah. Callie and I are probably the two most aggressive players.
I know Callie. Callie in the backwards thrower.
When Callie's not getting beaten up by Joe.
Legendary.
They call us the Bash Brothers. They call us the Bash Bros.
What's the Let me see. I'm enjoying this right now. What's the best and the worst item besides the coin? Unless you think the coin is not the worst item.
Coin is actually not terrible now that I know that they make a difference.
Oh, so
worst is probably getting a coin when you're in third. You know.
Okay.
But worst item is probably like I don't know. Lightning is always annoying. And somehow I never get it when I'm in the back of the pack. I never get it. I'll get like a gold mushroom and a bullet. And then the race is over.
What's the best?
I love triple reds. I don't get them often, but triple reds are really fun. And then if you can get that with a single red, it's so much fun to hear over voice chat like, how many reds do you have?
They just keep coming.
Yeah.
So Mario Kart 8, that's your first kart experience? Did you not get a chance to play any of the other ones?
I played the SNES, but I was so young, and then I played 64. Like my brother and I had it. We played it here and there. We played the OG battles all the time.
Let me help. Slightly after the 64 version came out, Ray, is when Diablo came out. So that's when he started hustling people in the streets.
I don't know anything about PC gaming at that time. I didn't even know computers had games.
That's where the hustle started. So forget it. It was over at that point.
Yeah. So. Yeah, 8 Deluxe is probably the first one that I really, really, really played. Like I never played the ones on DS. I never played I never played GameCube. I never played Double Dash. But I always hear about how good it was and how probably might even be better than 8, It's just so beloved. And I never tried it.
And I love it too. Like that's kind of the one I remember. And I wonder if it was actually like really good, or is it just because it's the only one that you get the 2 characters and the character-based items, which like for that, like, and I'm definitely terrible at it because I remember always trying to play double baby characters or something like that, or like or a Koopa because I got the light cart with shells. Still, so I must be terrible at the game if it ever pops up like on this when the Switch finally decides to give us a GameCube emulator. Which, I mean, it has to happen someday. I must be terrible. Dan, don't shake your head.
They're making the money off of the GameCube games. No, they're never going to do it. Those are all the games they're giving us for $40, $20 each.
They are remastering those, right? For whatever reason.
At best, they're remastering them. Prime's a remaster. The first 2 Pikmins, we're just going to throw them together. Give them $40. Let's go.
I'm itching for a Windbreaker remaster.
I'm just waiting for this June direct where allegedly they're going to tell us tomorrow we're getting a direct on Tuesday, and by the time your episode comes out on Wednesday, we're going to know if Wind Waker is real or not.
Right.
Or the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to be called.
They keep swearing.
You won't hear about that until after Christmas. They're not going to ruin this holiday season. They're not going to
wait that long.
They're not going to ruin this holiday season.
Advance.
February 2025's Nintendo Direct will be when they do it. They're not going to ruin this Christmas. Do you think they're going to go out there and shoot their own sales in the foot by saying, guess what's going to happen 2025? We're going to release the Switch 2. No. Here's what we got for 2025.
They're going to say they're going to say it's backwards compatible and it doesn't matter. You can keep playing games until then.
I'll tell you, not going to happen. Mark my words now.
Also, what's coming out this year for a holiday season for Nintendo?
Guess what? They don't tell us anymore. 2. We don't want them to tell us 5 years in advance anymore. They tell us 30 to 180 days out at most. So now's the time where they're going to tell us.
First, they already like Dragon Ball's Spark Zero has already told us they're coming out in October, and I get 3 videos a day on TikTok. It's like the same content over and over again, and I keep watching it.
That's a Ray algorithm problem. Yeah,
I'll be excited now if you tell me. I promise you, I'll still be excited 4 months from now if you tell me.
The last year has shown us Nintendo will only tell us games like 90 days out, and it's working. They're not overhyping it. That's what they're doing, and they're also not going to cannibalize 2024 sales.
Also, they're selling and winning sales battles. Princess Peach, it was like the highest selling game in England over in the UK, like they're killing.
You can tell Ray and I are like way too deep in obscure news stories and managing the site.
Look at you, because UK has their own. I've learned all this, working here for the last 2 years. The UK has their own sales list, and it looks different than the US sales list.
And it's wild.
Japan's got a separate sales list too. So I'm looking at all these like everyone's like, oh, this Princess Peach game, it's whatever. It's like, no, it's super kid game. I was like, that doesn't matter. It's the #1 selling game in half the world.
I can culturally tell you about Japan's sales. The British sales charts, I don't understand that at all. That is wild every time I see it.
The sales charts and their award show, like they award different games than we do. It's wild. Every time I'm like, people are like, this game isn't going great. No, it's just not made for America. This game was made for another country, essentially. I mean, the Nintendo, those people are geniuses.
We took us off the rails. I'm sorry, Sprondeau. My apologies.
It's all good. It's all good.
Back to Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I'll finish with this one. There's another one I always ask. Were you playing Kart both before and after the DLC?
Yep.
Came. What was it a big change for you? Kind of like the way the game was played and the characters usage and all that kind of stuff?
No.
So what character what character are you running with?
I'm on Yoshi all the time.
Even before.
Well, before I played Tanuki, because my girlfriend loves playing Tanuki. So I was like, I'll play it too. So Tanuki and Yoshi are probably my two go-tos. And then I went with Diddy for a long time after it came back out.
And tell me about the cart. Tell me about the wheels.
Pipe frame.
Okay.
And then the rollers. And then I think it's the paper glider.
So never Biddy Buggy or Mr. Scooty.
Rarely. Or I use the teddy bear once in a while too.
Mm-hmm. What's the what's your favorite course, and what's the course you don't want to race on?
Sunset Wilds is my favorite. I love that course. And then
that's a new one. We haven't heard that one.
I figured out how to kind of cut that first 180 turn, because there's a little gap between the mud and the side of the sand. I figured out how to drift that after seeing Frizz do it. It's like, hey, I gotta try that too, and it works. It's really good.
Unrelated, Ray needs your analysis on Super Mario Wonder in the next 4 hours. Since you're analyzing lines that tight, he needs a quick breakdown from you.
Listen, I have like that. Let me tell you, I have the lines, and I hate that I know the lines in that game. Every time I hate time trials. I hate them because I obsess. What's the worst course?
Worst course Baby Park's the easy answer, but that's not it. I love Baby Park.
You can say Cheeseland because it's boring.
Daisy Circuit. I don't like Daisy Circuit.
You don't like on the boat? No.
No. That's the latest one where there's that giant statue of Daisy. I don't like that one.
Wait, Cheeseland's boring, Ray?
Cheeseland's boring. Cheeseland's so boring. It's terribly boring. I don't care about it. Who cares?
There's cuts. There's bitches you can make boosts and jumps in. Look. Yeah, worry about your line.
A statue. A statue fell over. Let me boost on it. Oh no, the quicksand. How close could I get without falling in?
No. Are you talking about the desert, or are you talking about cheese?
Oh. No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the desert.
You're thinking of dry.
Oh yeah.
No, not dry.
Not dry.
No.
Cheeseland is if you have a star on the last lap. You go from last to first because of the two cuts.
He's talking about the one that goes through the quick oasis where you get the jump underwater and the statue falls down right at the end of the pillar.
Yes. Yeah. That's not Cheeseland. Oh, that's not Cheeseland.
I think that's dry.
No. Dry is the.
No, dry is the ship.
Yeah. No. Dry is. Oh gosh.
That's bone dry.
That's. I'm not thinking of bone dry. Oh god, no. We gotta look this up. It's not. You're right. It's not Cheeseland. You're right.
It's not Cheeseland. Cheeseland is not boring. I'm not going to allow that slander.
No.
I don't even remember the name of the Shy Guy Desert. Is that what it is? Is it?
Oh, is it? No, because Shy Guy has Shy Guy Falls.
No, Shy Guy's Falls. That's right.
It is Dry Desert. That is the name. You are correct, Sprondeau. Mm-hmm. That course sucks.
Dry Bones is the other one though.
Dry Bones is the pirate looking one. No, Dry Desert.
You can have it Dry Desert. That's fine. I will not allow Cheeseland slander.
Cheeseland's not. It's fine. Let me tell you, Cheeseland's not making. If I'm not looking at the DLC courses, well, we have 48 courses. Cheeseland's not making my. It's not making top.
I'm not saying it has to, but you can't take shots at it. That's all I'm saying.
It's gonna be pretty low on my list.
All right,
that's what I'm gonna say. All right, I'm done. Go ahead, Dan.
All right, here we go. 20 years. This November, we're hitting 20 years for the World of Warcraft.
Yep.
Your second honorable mention game. Now, again, I have concerns based on the Diablo conversation where this is going to go, and I'm prepared for anything. I have folks from BetterHelp and 1-800-GAMBLER in the States here on the line. They're ready to go. But all kidding aside, though, so this game is coming up on 20 years in November. Where did you jump in?
Wrath. I first joined in Wrath. I was in college, and one of my classmates was like, hey, you got to check this game out. And I remember he had a warrior with two-handed weapons, and he was just smacking everything. I was like, okay, this looks like so much fun. Got me into it, and then I have a MacBook Pro. I'm sitting in the back of my course, like grinding away, playing WoW. No idea what's going on up at the front. I'm just playing.
How angry was the MacBook at you?
Oh, I could fry an egg on it.
I'm amazed you can even do that. Good God.
That's an amazing sentence. I was playing on my MacBook. Are you sure?
Yeah. Oh, it was rough.
The GIF reaction for me is going to be another, there's a what from a podcast episode, but I felt my face slump when you said I was playing in the back of my MacBook. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so I played all through Wrath. I never got into raiding, but I had this paladin that was just unkillable. I was running 5-man dungeons solo, killing everything. And then my account got hacked. And then I lost everything. I just didn't even bother. I was like, okay, maybe it's a sign that I need to kind of take a break, And then a month later, I emailed Blizzard. I'm like, hey, I want to get my account back. I got hacked. I didn't realize I got hacked. So they said, okay, here you go. And we'll set you up and then do all the verification and stuff. And then they give me my account. I have 800,000 gold or something like that. When I know I had nothing close to that. I was like, okay, well, something's kind of broken, I'm not going to continue with this. And then I would go up and down every expansion. I played Cataclysm. Mists, I skipped. Legion, I came back. And then Dragonflight, I kind of came back. And then Classic started. And then some of the guys, because I'm part of another community called DadBod Gaming. So some of them are like, hey, we're going to start playing Classic because that's where we all started. So we start DadBod Gaming, the guild. And there's 15 of us. And then more people are just like, hey, that's a sweet guild name. Can we join? And then before we know it, we have 250 members. And then everybody is just kind of slowly working their way up to 60, And then I had never, ever raided. I had never done any of that. And then the guild is already going. They're doing Molten Core once a week, wiping halfway through, And then I remember one night, I'm like, hey, I can get in at level 58. I don't think I'll be doing anything, but I can get in. And then my buddy is just like, all right, we'll clear a spot. You're in. And then that was it, man. That game, I put so much time into WoW Classic. I ended up becoming raid lead with the group. And then I was the loot distributor, I guess, or loot goblin, however you want to see it. So I'm running okay, I have 2 monitors up. I have the list of who wants what on one screen, and then I have all my macros set up. Okay, I need you and you to roll when the countdown is over. Whoever wins gets it. And I'm doing this for 40 people, at one point, 3 nights a week. This is stuff I don't even do at work, I have Excel sheets going. I'm managing. Okay, this is this person's setup right now. I have a list of whatever every person has equipped. It was so much. And thinking about it, I'm like, man, if I had put that much effort into anything else, Where would I be right now? And then TBC Classic started, and then I just fell off. I burnt out. It's like, no, everybody's grinding away to 70. I can't do it. I think I got to 63 or something. I said, no, I'm done. And then Wrath was announced. I was like, okay, that's where I started. I'm coming back for it. I played through Wrath. I got to the end. I leveled up to max, and I think I did one raid, and I was like, okay, like I'm already burnt out. That's enough. And I haven't played since. I played a little bit of retail since Dragonflight came out. It was cool. But once my subscription ran out, I was like, oh, I'm good for now.
So do you think?
Of course now, with the latest expansion coming out, I'm talking to my nephew the other day, and we're like, summer's here. New expansion's out soon, and we're both talking about it. And I feel like by the end of July, I'll be playing WoW again.
Is that the nephew terrified with Bioshock and sent him?
No. No. Like, this nephew joined me in WoW Classic, and he was like, I don't know, 14, But he would always join voice chat, but he would always mute himself. But I would tell everybody, oh, my nephew's going to come with us tonight. He's 7 years old. He's 7 years old. And everybody would be like, wow, he's so good. He's only 7? And then I got the other raid leaders to get in on it. And they would just say, yeah, isn't it like prodigy level? He's top of the damage charts, and he's 7 years old. And everybody was freaking out. Then one day he he unmutes his mic, and he's like, okay, guys, thank you. And everyone's like, we thought he was 7. The whole chat kind of freaked out. He has this like new to puberty voice kicking in. And
he still threw a little extra bass on it, I'm sure, when he dropped
for
in.
For sure. But yeah, that was super funny when everybody realized that I had just been lying about his age for like a year.
So I was going to ask with this upcoming one, I believe they're calling it the World Soul Saga, if I'm addressing it correctly. It's a 3 expansion plan. Like, they're not doing like single expansion narratives. Like, there's some like they're planning out further. There's been historically some retconning with some of these, but they're supposedly planning like a 3 expansion arc now that will actually be thought through, with the War Within, which is the ones coming this year, Midnight, and the Last Titan are the other 2 that are going to be coming too. So like, I'm curious to see how this transpires, because again, I've been taking some shots at Blizzard through the course of this podcast, so I should probably be careful about what I'm doing, but whatever, I stand by it. It is what it is. But anyway, so I'm kind of curious to see what this is going to look like in this age of Blizzard.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I'm excited, but kind of weary of it. And then at the same time, they announced that WoW Battle Royale thing that came out a couple months ago. Apparently, it's just like super easy to get overpowered, and then you just win every time.
Yeah, no, I'm not even discussing that. Yeah.
No. I have no interest in looking into that at all. I saw the story that it's going to be 3 expansions long in the end. I have no idea. I haven't looked into it. I just know something's coming, and then the itch is coming back already. And I've done 0 research.
So through the course of time, I just want to ask one more thing about Warcraft. Like, what sticks out most to you? So you've been doing it since like 2008, give or take, probably. So you're on like year 16 and in and out, of course, but so over 16 years, what sticks out most to you?
The social aspect of it. Like, I was talking about it today with my girlfriend now, and she's not a gamer. So I'm trying to explain all these little tiny things about all these games, that we're talking about tonight. And then she was like, well, what about WoW? Why do you keep going back to that? And I said, it's so cool to run around, say, as a priest, and you just fortitude on all these people you pass. And then like an hour and a half later, you'll be killing the same thing, and then they'll just like slash wave you and like, hey, I remember you. And then you throw it back on them, and then you're gone, and then you never see each other again. And then there's the people that you'll run into in a random dungeon. And then you're like, hey, you're pretty cool. I think we should like group up more often. And then he turns into somebody that you talk to for the next 10 years. You know, like you have no idea. And I've always treated games as an escape, like I'm sure so many other people do. Like such long days, I'm like, all right, I need to just do something, turn off my brain, just enjoy whatever, you know, grind away. And WoW was really, really good for that. I would just work on my professions or even just stand in town and read trade chat, you know? Because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to be said. And, oh man, I found glitches in the map. Like I could end up under Stormwind, and like I was putting out hey, I'll give you 100 gold if you can find me, you know, in trade chat. And then I'd have people looking for me for an hour. And I'm just sitting there. I'm not doing anything, you know? What am I doing right now? And yeah, just totally unexpected meeting people, talking to who knows? Like you have no idea where any of these people are from or if English is even their first language. Like in WoW Classic, we were playing with people from Indonesia who turned out to be like farmers, like gold farmers. So they ended up getting banned a couple times, but it was really, really cool. We had people from all over Canada, all over the States. We had guys from Europe, and they would make it on and raid with us. We would raid at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's like 4 a.m. for them. And they're getting online, and they're kicking, you know?
They know the one true time zone. That's the important part.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But man, it was so cool. And I don't think I'll ever have a game like that again.
Well, you certainly don't in your next conversation. I'm going to call it your next conversation point because like we've gone through, right? And several of your games have been, what's the word I'm looking for? Starting games for series.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about Bioshock, which inevitably leads to 2 and Infinite, and Diablo, which merits conversation about the entirety of the series. And you know, we shoot back and forth with folks beforehand, and we say, hey, you know, let us know your games. We can make sure everything's set out. And you know, all that we got for your third honorable mention was FromSoft series. So this is the first time we've had people come in and they've said, like, I want to talk about the entire history of Mario Kart from Super Mario Kart on, or I want to talk about this. This is the first time somebody's come in, and technically, I think I know what you mean, and we'll talk about that. This is the first time somebody's coming in and just said they want to talk about an entire game studio's history. The game studio founded in 1986. That I believe 1994 was their first release of King's Field. So I don't know. So I have to jokingly ask. So are we talking? I kid. I'm guessing, are we talking like the Soulsborne type games, or do you want to talk like, I don't know, are we going into Armored Core? Are we going into some of the other, like, they had a really strong PS2 era. Okay, so we're talking Soulsbornes. I had to have that aside because Ray and I have gotten ones where like someone just writes Smash Brothers, and we're like, what do you mean? Like, we want to talk all 5.5 Smash Brothers games, all of them. Okay, all right, I guess. But okay, so we're talking from Demon Souls and into Dark Souls, etc. here. So you just like pain and suffering. This is just, is that, again, we were talking kind of pre-roll about you being a goalie in hockey, and my stereotyping you then as having just there's a few breakers that are in the off position that some other people may not be, and I say that with all due awe and respect to someone who could be a hockey goalie. That's the same thing we're talking about here, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I remember I was working at Best Buy when I got my PS3. I was like seasonal employee, got my discount right away. And I was like, hey, I'll get a TV and a PS3, you know? And then one of my coworkers was like, hey, you got to check out this game. What are you talking about? That doesn't look like anything I'd ever play, you know? He's like, no, you got to check it out. And it was Demon Souls. It's like, okay, all right, cool. Sounds cool. I'll check it out. And man, the frustration, the broken controllers.
I mentioned recently I cracked open my PS3 for the first time in a while, and that is not a these PS4, PS5 controllers, they're beefy boys that have some meat. The PS3 felt like it was going to crumble in my hand. It's so light. So yeah, you probably did some damage there, huh?
Yeah. There was a couple times where it may or may not have flown across the room.
But that 6-axis motion control felt every spin along the way. So a game designed for you to die. Let's start it that way. A game that also, I joke because you mentioned FromSoft. It is a real show not tell studio as well.
Yeah.
So did you come in like this is the era where you start to see less manuals, you start to see there's a lot more game tutorials. Yeah, there's a lot more like here's your tutorial level. And FromSoft does not give you tutorial levels. In fact, FromSoft oftentimes gives you, we're going to put one of the worst things in the game right in front of you, and you come into it and see what you do. And you die 117 times before you say, maybe I'm going to make a right turn and go east instead of going north when I come out of this cave and not die, Elden Ring. But anyway, but yeah, so like this is an entire like paradigm shift for you then.
Yeah. It was completely new to me. The whole... which I think even led to my love for games like Hades, In the end, it worked out to be like a roguelike. Because all the things I had learned about it were like, you got to pick up on the patterns. You got to learn what every enemy will do, what they're capable of doing. And then there's still moves that they can pull off that you have no idea they were able to do.
And here's my fourth form, and learn my fourth form's set of attacks that are going to happen here. Yeah,
that's right.
And I'm not done yet. I've got 3 more.
And just how the levels all somehow interconnected, and the world was just, it's just so great. The whole atmosphere, the music, the build variety, really. Like magic has always been overpowered in these games, but if you wanted to go barbarian, you can go barbarian. You want to be a knight, you be a knight. And it could work. And I admit, I never finished it on PS3. And then when it came out on release with PS5, it was the first game I downloaded. And I put it down. I had to put it down. I was getting frustrated. I didn't know where to go. And then I picked it up like a year later.
PS5 controllers are a lot more expensive than PS3 controllers were. Again, it may be a little beefier, but this thing breaks. It's tougher to replace.
Yeah, exactly. And then it turns out I had one boss left. So I play for an hour. I'm like, hey, I'll try the boss now. I feel like I got the controls down again. I kill the boss. The game's over. Oh, okay. I had no idea that that's all I had left. I had everywhere else cleared.
FromSoft taking you to the edge of sanity. That's their company motto. Just nobody ever knows.
And that's what I've done with almost all of them. Dark Souls, I loved it. It came out even when it was breaking computers. You remember when it released on PC and it was breaking people's computers because you'd go down a ladder the wrong way? And then I got like halfway through and I'm like, no, I can't do it. And then I would give up. Dark Souls 2 comes around. Hey, great. I'll start playing it again. No, same thing. Dark Souls 3. I take the day off work. I ended up finishing that one. But I admit, I go through a level, I summon everybody I can. I go online, I just summon help. I try to contribute.
What the mechanics for?
Yeah, that's right. Don't get mad at me because I'm trying to play the game how it was made.
Did
then
you,
Elden Ring.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you dive into Ray's Beloved?
Love that game.
Elden Ring is so good. I'm just trying to find an excuse to buy it so I can play it on my Steam Deck now. Because I have it on my PlayStation.
Is the DLC an excuse? Is that like...
It's out next week.
Yeah, so it's coming. Is that the excuse?
Yeah. I've been waiting for it to go on sale since Christmas. And of course, it's not going to go on sale with the DLC coming. So we'll see. I'll see if I pull the trigger or not. But Elden Ring, my first playthrough, I think I finished it with 160 hours. Like I tried to do as much as I possibly could, try different builds, different weapons, and I'm just playing on regular. I haven't even got the new game plus yet, like so here I am level like 200 and something running around the regular world. And everything can still kill me.
Right, it's all still there. I mean, they don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, you feel good about what you're doing? Like, okay, we're still gonna hit you.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll throw an extra attack in that you weren't ready for, so you don't heal. Like this isn't.
Yeah. Here's a 15-foot tall lobster that can shoot.
You're not safe.
This lobster can snipe you from half the map away. Those things were the worst. I hated those things.
Yeah, I mean, I know I did. I did the one run through of the game. I played one run through. It was like 80 something hours when I finished. Like that was like I finished the story.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh man, they're like, yeah, you gotta do New Game Plus. I was like, I can't do this again. Like, it's such an investment.
Yeah.
And I don't
an
know
investment, if I can. And there's so much to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Because just to get like, say, I wanted to go for the platinum trophy, you need to finish it in 3 different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did it one way already. Do I really want to do the whole thing again just to finish it a different way?
Yeah.
As fun as it is, I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, it's like finish it a different way, but you're still a different way. You're still playing the same bosses throughout the.
That's right.
And
I know I'm just gonna go back to the same build I was doing the first time.
Oh, me too. I can't like. I have two great swords, two giant heavy swords, and I can wield them both at the same time. Like that's. I was like, I knew. I was like, once I got one great sword early on. I forget which one it is. It's one of the legendary swords, like the earliest one you get. And I was like, oh, okay. Look, I'm gonna pull strength up until I can hold 2 of these. I was like, I already knew this is the way I'm going to play this game. I'm just gonna hit things really hard, and I'm never gonna play a different way.
They're slow, but they hurt.
Yeah, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to look towards the future. The game that you are waiting to see. Now you had 2 on the list. One of them was Hades 2, and we talked. We got to talk to Hades 2. You've played it already. Looking forward to it. We're just looking forward to see the new art, right? Where the story goes.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens when you go on the surface. Because really, you're far from done up there.
Yeah.
And you're far from done when you go down. I just want to see what happens. How do they, quote unquote, finish the story? Have you
finished the overworld? At least the part that you can do? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then like as soon as you beat that boss, it's just like, okay, you're done. You're dead. You just died.
It makes it feel like there's at least half more to go up there, right? Because they usually have 4 sections.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I did 2. There's got to be 2 more. Like, what's the final boss gonna look like on Olympus? Right?
Yeah. Where am I gonna end up? Who is going to be there? Who are the other bosses going to be?
Right, because they make it really, like, they try to make it really clear that Kronos is watching everything down below.
Yeah, he's watching everything.
He's watching everything. The first time you talk to him in what's supposed to be your safe haven.
Yeah, and he's just chilling by the fountain.
Hanging, and then the health bar comes up.
What is going on?
I freaked out when that happened. This game threw me for a loop.
Yep.
Oh, I have to ask one thing we did not talk about. So you've beaten Kronos twice, you said.
I've beaten Kronos once, and I beat the overworld boss once. I don't know if I can say the name. Because you kind of meet her.
Yes, yeah.
You meet them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You meet them depending on, I think it was dependent on how quickly you progressed through the game, where you would kind of.
I think so, yeah.
Meet, because eventually they leave. They leave you. Yeah. They'll tell you, all right, I'm done messing with you. Yeah. But I met them in every portion of the game. I kind of went through. I kept meeting them in every section. I was like, you gotta be kidding me! Like you're like,
just leave me alone.
But they put it there to basically be like, hey, you're going a little too fast. Right, we don't want you to win this early, so we're gonna make it next to impossible for you to win.
Yeah.
Did you try pausing the game when you fought Kronos?
No.
You should
but
try
I have read that something does happen.
You should try to pause the game the next time you fight Kronos.
Okay.
Justin Kronos is okay, all right. Oh boy.
By the way, you should try to pause the game. Now, I will say this: I can pause the game without problems.
Okay.
Others
Okay.
Others cannot. I currently can pause without having any issues arise.
Okay.
But that threw me for a loop. I lost actually right after.
Oh, really?
I was so rattled. I was so rattled by what occurred. I stopped. I didn't move and I died. I was so upset by it.
Nice. I'll have to try that. I'll probably try that after this, actually.
So they go, just, you got to do it. And I did it again just to make sure it wasn't like that something didn't go wrong. Like, now it's there.
Okay.
And then, Dan, I'm going to let you go on this one here. There's a second future game.
Yeah, so I mean, we're diving back in
Sprondeu
because
pain.
Yeah, we're diving in back into pain. You want Bloodborne. Bloodborne, again, another news story that Ray and I probably see 8 times a week is the rumored Bloodborne PC release that may or may not actually exist. But what, you don't have enough train. You don't have enough suffering from the rest of the FromSoft catalog that you want in on this?
That was one of the first games I finished on PS4 when I got it.
Oh, because you sound like you've had the PlayStations going.
Yeah, like I went PS1, PS2, 360, PS3.
He strayed briefly from the light.
Yeah, because everybody in school had Halo and Call of Duty 4, you know?
360 is special.
Yeah.
I had the Halo 3 edition, so I had the dark green with the copper, and it was cool. I regret selling it.
It's still my favorite controller. The 360 controller is just my favorite one. I love it.
I still have one around here somewhere, and sometimes I'll just pick it up and hold it.
So you had a bit of a spell, but you came back.
Yeah.
So
because then everybody I work with, my brother had a PS3, so I was like, all right, cool, I'll get one too, you know. And then everybody at work had a PS3, and then the PS4 came out, same thing. Everybody had it. So I
was just waiting for Ray to talk about everybody had it because it was a great Blu-ray machine and start going off on that tirade. But good, he didn't. Keep going. Don't stop.
I've said it enough times. Everyone understands this. Great DVD player. Let me tell you.
Yeah. The amount of times I sold people on it just because of that when I worked at Best Buy.
It was the best Blu-ray player you could buy.
We have a primary source right here. He just said, I sold them PlayStations because they wanted to watch movies. And they're like, why don't you buy this movie watching device that you can also play games on?
Yeah.
At least they have that. Xbox doesn't even bother trying to sell Xboxes anymore.
It's true.
So you're getting that crazy TV? You got to buy this PlayStation so you can watch Blu-rays on it.
To be fair, I also had a PS2.
That's a great idea, you know?
I also had a PS2.
Nice.
But so, all right, so I have to ask, so you did play it as the good Lord intended on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Do you just want the suffering back? Is this a Steam Deck play you mentioned like with Elden Ring?
Yeah. Day one, I'm buying it.
Dan, you know, because you have you've got the nicer Rogue Ally. These handheld, I mean, they're handheld PCs. They're game changers.
They're too much. It feels like I don't know if I told you I had the overwhelmed situation again last week where I'm like, why is there this much power in my hand? Like, why is this happening? And I got galaxy brained by it.
Like I was talking to my girlfriend today when she was like, why do you play Hades so much? It's right there.
Right there.
It's convenient. You want to watch TV? It's in my hands.
And it looks great.
I'll play it.
And it looks great.
But like Hades feels different because like you could spend 15 minutes on that. Like that game is designed. You could spend 15 minutes on it.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like a bit of your soul has died.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodborne, you spend 15 minutes on it and your adrenaline is kicking and your hands are shaking and you're like, I hate everything and I'm never going to play a video game again. And that's I'm just like, why? What are you
Like,
doing this to yourself for?
I originally got the Steam Deck so I could play Baldur's Gate 3. And then it looks like mud. But it plays, you know?
It plays.
Another
Yeah.
game that I can't do 15-minute burst. Like I need to set aside 2 hours to play that game though. That's
Like
not
when Divinity Original Sin 2 came out in 2017, that was my game of the year. I could not stop playing that game. I was scared to play that game. I'd be at work and say, you know what, I think I'll play tonight. But I know I have to set aside like 5 hours because I'm not going to want to stop. Baldur's Gate's the same thing. I love it, but I'm scared to play it because I know I'm going to get sucked in.
well, such as like I need to be in the zone. I need to be like mentally prepared for like it's so immersive. There's so much you could do. Like everything you see, you're only limited by like they do such a good job of capturing like Dungeons and Dragons' best thing is you are only limited by your own imagination. And Baldur's Gate 3 has come as close to that in a game as possible. Of
The amount of things I've seen on Reddit of what people are doing, man, I'm running through as an archer, you know? No, I'm Astarion.
I'm a
vampire.
ranger, so give me I'll take my bow and arrow. I'm good. Yeah.
Like, and then Divinity, I just overpowered my whole group. Once you can I respect each character into their own specific thing. One guy was magic damage, one was physical damage. And that was it. But Baldur's Gate is just a whole different beast.
But you just want to go back to pain and suffering. Is that where this all comes down to?
Yeah. I want to be able to have the urge to throw my Steam Deck to the floor, but then I'll actually do it.
Hey Gabe, how's that warranty looking on Body Slammed?
It is the controller.
That's an expensive controller.
Like it's at the point where I might even have to open it now, my Steam Deck, and clean out my X button.
Oh boy.
Because my X button is starting to stick. Just from playing like Hades and Baldur's Gate already. I've had it 6 months.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's move on to a question from the Channel 3 history books we're going to pick for you to discuss.
Sure.
What is the harshest game world you would survive in?
Oh, jeez, I don't remember.
So your answer was the Outer Wilds.
Okay, yeah. The time loop.
Lord knows it was not Soulsborne.
Yeah, Outer Wilds. I think that's when I was playing that quite a bit, and I just couldn't. I just don't want to go through that time loop over and over and have nobody else know what's going on. Well, there's maybe a couple that know what's happening, but
you can make the most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a great game as well. That one too, I never figured out how to finish it, but now I think I know what I got to do, but I just got to go back and do it.
All right, and the last question we asked, what's been your favorite feature on Channel 3?
Honestly, setting up the events. I love that. I love that I can just click on the events tab and it'll show me everything that's happening that day. And if I scroll further and further, it'll show me what's coming up. Like most of the time, I'll sign up for cups day of, you know. Frizz or JPEG will message me or Mace or whoever will say, hey, are you playing tonight? Oh, yeah. Let me click going. And then there's the Fortnite events on Wednesdays. Again, I love being social with gaming. It's probably my favorite thing. And C3 makes it that much easier. Like Kart. I've made so many friends just playing Kart. I never would have thought that would be possible. And then really, it's because of Channel 3.
All right. And with that, we've made it to the end of another What Are Your 3 podcast. Thank you, Sprondeau, for being with us. You can find the podcast at c3.gg/podcast, dropping every Wednesday morning at 3:33 a.m. Eastern on all the major platforms, including Spotify, YouTube Music, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Ray. Dan puts this all together. Our theme song is by Caster Garden. And for our executive producer, Joel Willis, have a good day, everybody.
Channel 3 is the future.